ดี๋ยวไปนั่งซีรับเองที่เอารอบก่อนทำไมพี่ได้ยินเสียงตัวเองประมาณนั้น
Thank you hello hello นะครับอีกประมาณ2 นาทีนะครับเราก็จะกลับมาสู่เซสชันถัดไปนะครับเนาะนะครับ we will we are gonna start the new session in 2 minutes so please make sure that you are keeping enjoying the more programming and then within 2 minutes we will get back to the stage and welcome another speaker on the stage good
You can show the case
นะครับนะครับ
You can show it We think it's right you got it and these all the functions all the range that's it oh great you can show this I think people will interested
yeah and before we get start to the another session our speaker have another showcase for the M which he is right now really excited to show this one yeah โอเคทุกคนครับเดี๋ยวเรากลับมาที่สเตจกันก่อนนะครับเดี๋ยวก่อนเซสชันถัดไปนี่สปีกเกอร์ของเรามีของมาโชว์นะครับสปีกเกอร์บอกว่าทำมาทั้งคืนนะครับนึกถึงมันนะครับเพิ่งทำเมื่อกี้ไม่ใช่นะครับเดี๋ยวรอดูนะครับรอดู
So everyone, this is gonna be pretty fast, so don't worry. So I wish everybody could see like real life programming with Elm. So I'm gonna do a live demo, and I hope you will enjoy it like as myself. Like I enjoy writing in Elm, and I'm gonna show you like what's the real life like how you will see. So just before doing that, I didn't told you about that. Like this, like search is like you type like for example, you forgot the name to get the size of a string. You forgot the name. Oh my god, I forgot. But I know that it returns an int. So I just type like string, a row int, and I get the function. And this can be for a lot of stuff. For example, you work on I don't know a bit more complex stuff. You can just type the annotation of what you think like your function will do, and maybe someone already created that somewhere, and it will give you exactly every function that has the same annotation. Anyway, so let's get going. Can you hold the mic? Okay. Okay. So let's go. So you see, I'm gonna close everything here. Okay. 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 So you see this website? So I just got like someone hired me to work on his website, right? No, you know how to code in Elm, and I'm new in the company, and I'm working on that project. So I just got into the code, so I don't know anything about the code base. I just arrived, okay? So I go on the oops on the here, tac, and I see like there is an issue here. Oh, I need to add Thai translation to this website. Oh, like okay. That seems pretty big, right? All right. So I'm gonna see like this. I'm gonna go like I'm gonna fork. So I already forked this and mid down, tuck. And okay, so okay, to install it, okay, I just do Lambda live. I just clone the repo and I do Lambda live and it's work. I just need to install Lambda. That's it. Okay. Okay, so oops, fuck. Okay, so so okay, so I do Lambda live. Oh, pretty fast to run, right? I have the app in local now. And you see, this like where is the code here? You have to look, everybody. Where is the code of this? Like I have the code here. I open it, but I don't know anything about this code, right? So what people do to know where the code is? You just look for a piece of text or something and then you search in the whole code base, right? With Lambda, you can just press on this, and then you can just control option X, and it directly point to the piece of code that is actually doing the stuff. So I click, and boom. Oh, it's already here. Crazy. So I see English, French, Spanish. Okay, let me add Thai. And now I'm gonna go here and I'm click on Spanish. Oh, I guess it's here, right? I don't know about the code base, huh? Remember. And now I see that my file from Frontend doesn't compile, right? Let me jump straight where it doesn't compile. Oh, it doesn't compile here. Let me add Thai. And oh, copilot, cool. Okay. I don't have this text, right? But for now, yeah, I don't have this text, so I should create it, right? So there is like this big piece of like French, Spanish, Thai. Okay, so I'm gonna go at the bottom of the file and I say, okay, Thai text, because that's basically what I need to create, right? Okay, I'm just gonna like do English text. English text, where is English text? Here. Okay, English text. So I should just take all of this and like say, like I just go here and I say, okay, let's go on this, right? Translate everything in code. in Thai. All right. Okay. Oh, it's too long, but it's because so I split. I already have 4. Yes. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Okay. I already did that before the meetup. So I just exit that and I actually have this file here. So I'm just gonna like don't save and I'm gonna like river in the finder and I'm just gonna like do like this and I'm cancel. Where is the user config? User config. Oh, it's here. So let me just do like this, river in finder, and I'm gonna do like this. Like, no. Okay, let me just move. Okay. And now let me restart my server. Tac. Okay, so now typetext is working, and now I just need to finish with this new compiler error. Ah, it compiles. Woo!
Wow.
That's it. And since it's a functional programming language, right? So I can just do like okay, I see my diff. Oops. Pretty straightforward, right? Tac tac tac. Oops. Ah, why? Oh. Ah, okay, let's never mind. Oh, I'm because of the tie. Ah, ah. Okay. Sorry. So no, I'm just gonna like translation tie added. Okay. I go here and I say okay, my repository, me down and contribute. Yes. And it's done. And now I just wait for him to accept my PR and that's it. So that's what I love about Elm is basically like every time you code, you don't need to really know everything about the code base. When you jump right in, it's just very fast. Yes, it's different from most programming languages, but it has this power to like kind of like you are put on a ride and you just cannot you just cannot miss anything like. And you know when you begin a project, every time it's very easier, you know everything. But when it begins to grow, you cannot have like the brain to know everything. And that's why like the compiler is so powerful here. Until like until you just fix all the compiler error and that's it. And it works. So I hope you liked it.
That's it. You know what? You know what that remind me that the thing that he did for the code, right? It remind me that if you are junior, you do copy and paste, but if you are senior, you do copy and paste faster. That is No, we have a lot of things with that. And okay, I think we are done with the first session. Everyone, please clap your hand to our speaker, the Sharon here. All right.
Do you want to use this one to stream for Mario?
Sure.
Yeah. So,
Sure.
all right. So our next speaker is from which country? London. Yeah. So he's gonna phone in for us.
And he's actually the guy who created Lambda, which is this is full stack actually. Like this is only Elm in full stack, front end and back end. And also like the feature where you can just do like this and go into any piece of code, it's his work too. So I'm very glad that he's gonna talk here. I mean, from London, but still. So
ยังไงนะครับก็เดี๋ยวเปิดเลย alright
okay.
yeah it's gonna alright
So thank you everybody.
yes alright
I let Mario Rogic talk.
yeah sure
Okay, our
อีก5 นาทีครับ
yeah, sure. Our Mario, our next speaker is waiting. During the time that our technical team setting up for the next session, I think we have learned a lot. Yeah. นะครับเดี๋ยวรอเซตอัพแป๊บหนึ่งนะครับเดี๋ยวคุณมาริโอนะครับบินตรงมาจากลอนดอนไม่ใช่บินตรงนะครับสตรีมตรงมาจากลอนดอนนะฮะเดี๋ยวมาดูกันนะครับว่าจะมาพูดอะไรนะครับนะครับสำหรับคนที่อยู่ข้างหน้านะครับ everyone if you are on the front line you could look at this laptop and then you can say hi to Mario by like waving your hand you know yeah I think
yeah
it
live
work.
caption
Should
sure.
work.
Yeah it's cool
Okay, let's just take our technical team will take like another 2 minutes for the next speaker and then let's see. Okay. Sure.
Could you say something
Yeah, sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Great one.
okay
Very nice.
let's go
Okay, let's go. Mario, right now the stage is belonging to you. Everyone, please clap your hand to welcome our speaker from London, Mario.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. So, yeah, it's a shame. I would have much preferred to be there in person. I'm sure the weather's quite nice in Bangkok this time of year. But given that I'm on the other side of the world, currently in London, something I like to do with my presentations in general, even my conference talks, is I have this app. So I know you guys have had your brains maybe a little bit exploded with Elm and some Elm coding. So I thought in my session, what I'm going to do is going to get to know you guys a little bit, and then I'm going to tell you some things about Elm to maybe motivate you to continue trying Elm in the future. Like, why should you care? Some nice things about Elm. And then I'm just going to tell you a little bit about a project that I've been working on, which is about bringing Elm to the full stack, which I think is super exciting. So I'll just give you a little taste of that if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But in any case, to know you guys a little bit better. So hopefully you've all got your phones or your laptops and you can jump on this URL. So just give me a thumbs up if everybody's ready. Everybody that wants to be ready. Cool, nice. Okay, let's do the first question. So this one's easy. How are you doing? Okay. one person is not doing so well, maybe they need a hug. Maybe you go find who that person is, give them a high five. No, more people want hugs now. Yeah, they figured it out. If you thumbs down, you get hugs. That's how this works. Okay, cool. The next question. So you had a little bit of a taste of Elm. How are you feeling so far? Okay, one person says that they love the error feedback. Nice one. Somebody sent me a surprised face. So okay, some people finding it cool. You can actually answer multiple, so I guess people can feel multiple things here. But yeah, a few people are a hard no. Some people are not enjoying it. Just fair enough. It is very different. But okay, let's crack on. So this is a question. Yeah, I wonder how people feel about this. I feel a very particular way about the tech industry. I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm curious, yeah, how are you guys feeling about, day to day? Maybe some of you are beginners as well. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. Maybe some of you have been around for a while. At least somebody in the room is testing the latency of the questions. Nice. It's good. Trying to break my software. That's good. We love it. Okay, cool. So some stuff to this one's just out of interest for me. For the people in the room that are doing web dev and doing some hosting stuff, I'm curious, what kind of stuff do you use today? What services do you use? Okay, cool. A lot of AWS, a lot of the big ones. Quite a lot of people using Versal. Nice. Somebody's using bare metal on a potato. That's cool. Thanks for sending that comment in. Okay, very cool. That's good to know. So a lot of hosted services. Some people. So those of you, maybe if someone in the room could just tell me quickly because I can't hear you very well. Those of you that are using other things, do you want to just shout out, or maybe even just put in the comments what other thing are you using? I'm especially interested if anybody is using like, okay, deploys.app, StackBlitz. Is anybody using like just entirely like open source, running their own hardware from scratch in a data center? Not so much. Somebody's using Neon, Railway app, Cloudflare workers. Okay, cool. Okay, let's get to know you guys a little bit more. Why are you here? Why are you at this event, huh? Oh, that's cool. People are looking for love. This is nice. Keep trying. Like there's a chance, right? If everybody's looking for love, eventually we'll figure it out. Okay, very cool. Lots of people here for social, for discovery. Nice one. Okay, what about you? What fields are you in? So I'm going to assume most people are probably developers. Okay, we got some students. We got at least one academic. Okay, but mostly all developers in the room. That's cool. Okay, next one. So what's your experience in the field? So if you said you were a developer, roughly what's your experience? How long have you been kind of in and around this field? Okay, nice. We've got a really cool mix of people. We got a bunch of beginners, some intermediates, somebody's been a bit longer, some veterans of 10 plus years as well. So that's pretty cool. That's nice. Okay. So this one is, I make an argument, this is why people argue on the internet, but let's see. So if you think of the projects that you work on personally, roughly what kind of scale, the range of users that are on your site, like using your app or your site or your product concurrently, like all at the same time. So if you have 100 million users, that's fine, but maybe only like 1,000 are on the site at once, or 10,000 or whatever it is. Somebody said on the comments that they have nobody, no users. So that's sad. Maybe they need a hug as well. But yeah, okay, so 10 million plus, 100K plus. We got a few people here from Google or Facebook or Amazon, something like this, I'm guessing. Somebody's waving from the back. I don't know if they're waving at me or someone else, but maybe. But yeah, okay. But most people are kind of in the lower range, right? And my theory is that most of our industry is in that lower range, right? So I think the stuff that you deal with at the really high range is a very special set of problems. But I think in general, the majority of the problems I think we have and the stuff that I'm kind of talking about here, I think resonate really well for those of you in the 10K, 1K, 0 to 1K range. Okay, and then this one's interesting. I'm just curious the languages you work with currently. Maybe not all languages are here. If you have a different language that you work in, let me know in the comments. I'm just curious. Okay, so a lot of JavaScript people here, a lot of TypeScript people, which is cool. That means what I plan to say next, I think will be relevant to you. So hopefully it is. Okay, Python, Go, Rust. Nobody's written in with other languages, so I think we've got ourselves covered. Okay, and this is so there's two kind of interest questions here. So in your experience, maybe some of you who are beginners haven't had industry experience yet, but you can talk about just your learning. So this statement, the systems I work on are getting more complex. Is this how you feel? Are you not sure? Or you don't think so? You don't think they're getting more complex? Cool. So yeah, I think in general, this somebody has said that their system's already complex enough they can't even feel any more complexity. So I think that's called depression. I think you have depression. So someone needs a hug there as well, maybe. But yeah, okay. Next question. So how well equipped do you feel? So, most people have said, oh my God, things are getting more complex. But, do you feel like you have the tools? Do you feel like you have the skills to deal with this complexity? Or does it just feel like it doesn't really matter what you do, things just get more complex? Okay, so some people think they're equipped. A lot of people are unsure. And one person thinks, yeah, definitely not. You can't deal with it. Somebody in the comments has said, I just throw the code away. So that's cool. That's a nice way to deal with complexity if you have that choice. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it. So perfect. Let me jump into my slides, but that's awesome, guys. Thanks for jumping in on that with me. So give me a second to just figure out my screens. Okay, can you guys see that screen and hear me okay? Good, yes, good, thumbs up. Okay, so I've learned a little bit about you. So let me tell you a little bit about me. If you know my context, then maybe you'll understand why I say certain things or where my background is, right? And we can avoid the arguing on the internet. So me, I'm a developer. I've been doing this for over 10 years in various forms. Most of the projects I work on are in the scale of 0 to 10,000 concurrent users. So I would say that my career has been defined by low scale, high complexity, if that makes sense. Right. So I think that's kind of where my bias is. That's what I think about. My kind of languages are kind of working backwards. I mean, in the past, I've done, C, Java, PHP, SQL in the early days. And then most recently, I worked in Ruby for many years. Then I shifted to JavaScript and TypeScript. And then in recent years, I've been doing a lot more functional. So I've done a lot of Haskell and lately a lot of Elm. And Elm is presently, at least, by far my favorite language. Cool. Everything okay, Charles? Okay, perfect. So yeah, I I think what I'm talking to you guys, or what I'd like to share with you, is my excitement on Elm's full stack potential. But we have a problem before that, right? A lot of you, and I didn't get to ask this question, but maybe you can show me with your hands. How many of you wrote or saw Elm for the very first time tonight? If you saw for the first time tonight, you want to put your hands up for me. Okay, cool. So a lot of you guys are new. So I know a lot of you are feeling overwhelmed. So I kind of wanted to start with just a little bit of a pitch. Like, why should you care about Elm? All right? Why am I even talking to you? Why does this matter? And so I just wanted to share a couple of things that maybe make you interested to go, oh, okay, maybe this is worth my time, right? Because there's so many things to spend your time on these days, right? So did anybody notice something that was missing? Or at least I think it was missing. Charles, you can tell me if somebody faced this. But there was something that was completely missing in your experience that you see in TypeScript and JavaScript all the time. Anybody have a sense of what that was? It's a bit scary. I'm going to show you. Maybe some of you will have some trauma when you see this. Are you ready? So this is what was missing. All right. We didn't see this at all. But this is pretty normal. I mean, put your hands up if you see this pretty much every single day in your JavaScript and your TypeScript code. At least one person. Maybe some people not sure. Sure. So one reason that Elm is kind of really, really nice is even if you screw up, Elm is nice to you. So this is like one thing that I really enjoy about Elm is that it feels nice and it doesn't feel stressful to work on an Elm project. I feel that enjoyment and I can keep working quite quickly. So I think that's cool. A lot of you have probably also heard this like move fast and break things. Yeah, like this seems cool. Like Facebook coined it, right? But I think in Elm we have a move fast and break nothing. You know, it's still cool. It's just less stressful. You know, you have these guarantees, and I think maybe you guys got a little bit of a taste of how the compiler helps you. The compiler has your back, right? We make sure that everything's covered and we don't have like surprises. Another reason that I think Elm is really cool is Elm brings less complexity, not more. So I know probably a lot of you are dealing with TypeScript. You know, how many of you feel a little bit of anxiety every time there's a new React release? You know, all the new features, all the new things you have to learn. You know, React 2023 is different to React 2022, right? Like there's all this new stuff. And so maybe some of you have seen like, you know, this front-end developer roadmap, you know, like all the things that you need to learn to be a front-end developer in 2023. And like, there's a lot, right? Like there's heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of stuff on here, right? Like it's crazy. At least I think it's crazy. Like I feel this doesn't make me feel like things are getting less complex, right? So in JavaScript, you guys may know, like if you start a JavaScript project, right? What do you need? Well, step one, you need a way to package things, right? So, okay, let's go get a tool for packaging. Step two, well, okay, we want to do some front-end view stuff, right? So we go, oh, okay, let's get React. Maybe we get Preact. Maybe we get Vue, right? What do you do for kind of like state management now? Okay, maybe we go get Redux. Maybe we get some other tool. You know, if you like functional, you want to try some immutability, what do? Okay, we have to go get another library because JavaScript doesn't do that. What if you want types and type checking? Okay, now we have to learn TypeScript. We have to get that tooling. We have to set up maybe Flow if that's still cool. So in Elm, and you guys would have seen a little bit of this tonight, the package manager, that's built in. That's part of the language, right? The view layer, that's built in. It's also part of the language. You don't have to learn anything else. The state management, that's part of the language. There's no external tool, right? And so the theme, I think, in Elm is that we have this very small set of things that are really nicely designed to fit together, right? So this is another reason that, you know, I said, you know, it feels relaxing with Elm because you have the compiler, everything fits together, everything clicks, it guides you. And so it's just a really pleasant experience. Another reason is I've found for me, Elm and functional programming has made me a better developer overall, right? So I think this is hard to see until you've kind of pushed through it. But I would encourage you, when you see some of these concepts and they look really crazy and they look really foreign, part of that learning and part of pushing through that understanding, once you get through that, it'll be like, oh, actually, this is really cool. Like this is showing me a different way to think about things. Another reason is the Elm community are amazing and active. So if you get stuck, tonight you've had Charles there running around helping you guys. You've had other people there to help you. And I think in the JavaScript community, it's really hard to get help, right? There's just so many people online and everybody's asking questions and there's Stack Overflow. So for Elm, we have the Slack. It's got a beginners channel. It's really, really awesome. There's like 23,000 people in there last time I counted. And yeah, like people are really, really friendly. Like usually in Elm, if you ask a question for help, usually people are racing each other to answer you. So it's a really nice experience, right? And people love to do it because Elm is like, constrained and small and there isn't a lot of complexity. Yeah, and also like the community is very active. So last week we were in Denmark. We ran what's called Elm Camp with a bunch of people in the community that are building lots of tools and things. So yeah, there's a lot of energy in the Elm community and lots of things are happening at the moment. So it's just a really cool time to participate. Okay, cool. That's my spiel. I won't bore you anymore. Hopefully I've given you some reasons to be interested in Elm after tonight. But I'll talk to you very quickly about Elm on the full stack potential. So right now, when you guys build an app, you might think of it a little bit like this, right? There's some front-end stuff, there's back-end, there's your storage. This might be how you think about building apps. And usually we talk about, Elm currently is just for the front end, right? So all of these lovely things I've told you about are currently only constrained to the front end. But actually, there's a lot more stuff going on, right? We've got the back-end, front-end storage. But actually, when we talk from the front end to the back end, right, we've got encoding, we've got transport, like we use HTTP, maybe we use GraphQL or something. We've got decoding, there's the back end, there's the querying, there's the storage, right? So there's actually a lot of things going on. Then on top of that, we've got hosting, deployments, migrations, and we got all the glue in between this, right? You got to connect these pieces. You got to write code so that your querying works with your storage, depending on which backend framework you chose. Does that work with the front-end framework? There's all this kind of stuff to connect. And then if you're working, not a hobby project, if you're at work, this suddenly gets worse because now you have to do tests, right? All of these things cause complexity. You got to write tests. And then you also got to write tests for the glue, tests to make sure these things work together. And then there's maybe integration tests. Okay, we want to test multiple things work together. Then maybe we have acceptance tests. We want to test the whole platform works together. Maybe you guys have got mocking. Then there's maintenance, right? We've got continuous integration, package updates, security updates. There's just a lot of stuff to deal with. So the project that I've been working on is called Lambdera. And it is Elm, so what you've experienced tonight, but on the entire stack. So here's the whole architecture for Lambdera. So what you guys did tonight is you worked a little bit on this, right? You guys worked on regular Elm. The way that Elm works is on the front end, we got a state. We have some events, which we call messages. And those events change our state, right? And then we re-render the view. That's the whole architecture. That's called the Elm architecture. It's a very small, very simple way to think about Elm. What Lambdera does is it takes that same picture, puts it on the back end. So it's exactly the same model. And then we have two more events to just talk between the two systems. So in general, when we're looking at this complexity, why is this interesting? Well, Lambdera removes kind of all of this stuff in the middle between the front end and the back end because it just connects and it's just Elm. And it removes the querying and the storage because that, again, just stays in Elm. So it's all type checked. And because we've removed all these things, now we have less testing. And because our surface area is removed, we also have a much smaller amount of things to deal with for continuous integration, package updates, and security updates. So that's pretty much the vision of kind of a taster I wanted to share with you guys. So yeah, if you've enjoyed Elm just on the front end bit, then this, like Lambdera, if you're kind of looking for Elm on a bigger stack or looking to do a full project, you might find that as something interesting to mess around with as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That was the spiel that I wanted to give you guys. But hopefully you had fun and are interested a little bit in your first taster of Elm. And if you're curious to do full stack with Elm, then you might check out Lambda as well. And you're always absolutely welcome, like I said, to jump on the Elm Slack and ask any questions or ping me directly. I'll put up my details in a second as well once I find my slides. So yeah, that's all from me. Thanks, guys. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Second one, and I hope we will host the third and the fourth in like very soon after this, and you can อะไรนะฮะ okay and so you can see an update on the Discord and maybe talk more after this event. The Discord link is I think we have like a page for all of the link we have. I think it's Garten's the okay, yeah. List of shop link. This one. Okay, so you can visit the web grtn.org/c like and you can try our Discord to see updates about Creators Garden and the event we will host in the future. What is the next event? So okay, so Poon doesn't talk to me. Like last week of this month, we will host another event called Indie. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, just a quick update. So on the 21st, there's gonna be a side project showdown. So if you have your side project, maybe it's written in React, Svelte, Vue, or other any language, you guys can have a 8-minute to talk about your project. And then it's just gonna be a nice meetup where you got to show like what's challenging about your project or your tech stack. So if you guys have any side project, you can come here and share on like around 21st.
Okay, and also we will host an event called the Math Night. We don't have a detail yet, but it will be hosted very soon. The event is centered around mathematics, and as you guys are functional programmers, I think this may interest you. And also,พี่เจมส์ the okay พี่เจมส์ the moderator of this event also has an idea about interpreter meetup which we can talk more about building our own interpreter, and I hope we will host it very soon too. So you can อะไรนะฮะ okay, so you can view our updates and maybe talk more up on our Discord channel, which is can we see the QR code? Yeah. Okay. Okay, here. So พี่ภูมิฮะ do we need a wrap up now or you want to wrap up the event? Do you want to wrap up the event? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, before Kun Poom wrap up, so we have another event soon on 21st, right? The showcase, and we're gonna have another event called Mad Night, and we are gonna have another event that called Building Your Own Interpreter. But the event that will be on 21st, it is the one that like near our current date, right? So yeah, let me hand on to the Kun Poom.
All right. Okay, so this is the end. Kun Mario asks if anyone have other question, so he can be there to answer just for a little bit longer. Any question about his talk? Okay. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to ask that. So Mario, thanks for the presentation and the introduction. I think I noticed that you have tons of experience with other like web languages. So one of the thing about writing as a full stack developer, and especially if you're writing something on the front end, you practically cannot. So it's not just the programming language itself. Usually you need to know about like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Like all those things need to be like integrated together to have a fully functional, like excellent presenting website. So we previously we went through the process that we need to use like PHP, Java, mingle with JavaScript and HTML, like they just like a spaghetti, right? And now they have all these like JavaScript based full stack like XJS that kind of ease the task a little bit. So from an end perspective, how do you see that type of different language linked together using AIM to write a front end? How do you feel about that? And is it easier, or is it going back to the PHP paradigm? Sorry, my question too long, but
I'm sorry, I could hear some speaking, but I can't hear the question clearly. Sorry.
yeah. So the short question is, how do you see AIM as a tool to write front end website? Because
No, sorry, it's really boomy. Like I can hear the microphone is working for you, but it's not working for the laptop.
Why is that?
Yeah. Could you talk to the laptop? Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
can you hear now?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, so my question is really, so we went through this stage of going from PHP and Java and commingle with all these HTML, CSS, and JavaScript stuff, that stage of web development. So now, and then currently, there's a lot of like full stack JavaScript framework that actually solve that problem quite nicely. So from by using AIM, how's your experience of commingle like a different language with all the web components again? Like how do you feel about that? How does it compare with mingle it with PHP?
Yeah, no, that's actually a really, really good question, right? So obviously, especially for you guys, like if you already know that stack and you already work in that stack, like maybe it makes it difficult to go, okay, why should I learn another one? I think for me, the really compelling reason was most of the frameworks that we got to today, we got there incrementally, right? By the history. So when JavaScript was invented, SPAs didn't exist, right? They didn't even exist as a concept. So JavaScript wasn't designed for SPAs. Instead, we were like, okay, we have a language. How can we cram and tweak and twist and just like get it to do these things that we need to do? And as the web evolved and we learned more things, we have more APIs, every change is like, okay, it's not great, but what can we do to twist this thing? It's like we started with a hammer and we're like, okay, how can we use this hammer to do painting? Like it was always incremental. We had to keep changing. And people were like, okay, maybe we can put a brush on the hammer. Right now you have a brush hammer. Right? And that's I think how, to me, a lot of the frameworks feel, right? We start with the solution and we try and work backwards to the problem. The really nice thing about Elm, and I think there'll be more languages like this over time, is Elm kind of started from being like, okay, we have all these problems we've learned in web. What if we designed a language specifically for those problems? So you are right in asking the question, okay, well then how does Elm work with everything that's there already? And the answer, and I think this is unique, is Elm goes, oh, well, I don't. You know, like I have ports, I have ways to do web components externally, but the language itself was designed to be really, really nice by itself because you can't really make all the existing stuff nice, right? Because it was incremental. So the thing I think is interesting about it is it's a very different approach. And also nobody is really doing it, right? Like, I don't know if you followed, like Reason ML started with a syntax very similar to Elm. And then because they wanted adoption, they changed their syntax to be more like JavaScript. So I think in general, the industry is trying to do the same thing to hit everybody. But Elm is really unique in that it's trying to do something really, really different. And I think that gives it some lovely stuff, but at the expense that it's not going to integrate perfectly with everything. Does that answer your question? Is that satisfying? Okay.
Yeah, okay. I think we have time for another last question. Anyone have the question? You can raise your hand. Sure. Okay, Mr. Mario, this is your last question. Okay. So, okay. Hi. So first, I want to say that thank you for your amazing presentation. Your presentation is make me to see different for the traditional front end JavaScript and with the I have tried rank just yesterday and I have seen that the way to write ขอบคุณครับ the way to write is very beautiful. It's because everything is a function, and when I write it, I think like a function, and M can give me that give that give the code that same as my thing. Okay, so I think it's very wonderful, and I have some question for the M that is M have the framework like Angular, or if in React we have a Next.js, or you can have a framework or like a with. So I'm sure that for the they have some the framework for to work with team.
Yeah, that's a great question. So in general, so you know I showed you that slide how Elm has so many things built in.
Yes.
In general, you don't need a framework in Elm to build an app, right? You can just go and build it. However, there is something that you could consider like a framework. So that a guy called Ryan is building. I'll share this and hopefully you can see. So Ryan has been building something called Elm Land, which you might like to look at. And Elm Land, basically, what it tries to do is it tries to do this, some batteries included stuff, right? So it tries to say, okay, you know, some things you're always going to do in an app, like routing, right? Like your URLs match to pages. So Elm Land tries to give you a little bit of, it tries to give you a little bit of help with your Elm code, but in a way where, like with React, if you choose React, you're always stuck with React unless you rewrite. Whereas with Elm Land, you can start with Elm Land, and if you don't like it, you can eject, but it's not like ejecting React. Like it's much more pure and clean. So it really is just Elm, but like maybe some like helpers, some pre-made stuff. But yeah, Brian is doing some really, really cool work there. I use Elm Land in a few of my Lambdera and my own projects. So definitely, yeah, if you're looking for that next step to see what does something like Next look like in the Elm community where we do things a bit differently, then yeah, definitely check out Elm Land. It's pretty cool.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm looking for.
Awesome.
And one more question is they have any real world web that using M? I mean,
Any real world projects?
yes.
You mean? Oh yeah, yes, quite a lot. So there's a company called Vendor. Oh, that's the wrong one. Vendor Inc. So Vendor, these guys recently got a $1 billion valuation. And they have a really fantastic front end team, and they do absolutely everything in Elm. So if you Elm at a $1 billion company, so there's a podcast if you want to hear from the CTO, Aaron White. Elm Radio is like one of the big podcasts for Elm. So yeah, if you want to kind of see Elm at a $1 billion company and hear about like how they use at a really big company, then this is a really cool podcast. There's transcripts. They also mention like a lot of tools and stuff that they use and how they feel about it at a company, how they think about it. So yeah, if you think, does Elm scale? Do real people use it? This is a pretty cool podcast to listen to. So yeah, check that out.
Okay, thank you so much. That's all question for me.
Pleasure. Thanks for the questions.
Okay, thank you, Mario, for answering the question. I think everyone right now, the event has been ended.